Welcome to Who is USA, the people that help build the economy here. I have today a very special guest, Jose Antonio Izquierdo, and he is in the energy field, but there's a few things that he's really looking at. How he's gone into the energy field has a lot to do with making sure that the family is healthy. He'll cover that. As I introduce you, Jose, could you just start a little bit about your life journey, your 20 years in the automobile business, how you handled that, how you built loyalty, and the kind of customers you have? Because you're still doing a crossover from holding that down. At the same time, you've got JaiSolar going, and that is a part of a company of Encore Solar. So Encore provides a lot of the installation, but they're nationwide. You have an advisor here today that can help you no matter what your situation is, whether you have a commercial business or you just happen to be residential or you have an apartment building and you're looking for ways to save money and create lower energy bills for your residents. It just covers everything in that whole field. You're also covering water, I think is a really big deal, the quality of water. Jose, could you share a little bit about your life journey and how you got into what you're doing today?
All right, Mike. Thank you again for having me on here. And I've been in the automotive field for 20 years. I started in the automotive field because when I was a teenager and I had my first vehicle, I saw that there was too much abuse in the automotive field. I would take my vehicle to the mechanic every week and it would get serviced. I had a job delivery, so I ran up a lot of miles. I ran almost 3,000 miles a week. I was
Yeah.
doing oil changes every week, getting the car serviced every week. Then one day the car shut down on me. It had overheated and it just everything went bad and I had to end up getting rid of the car and getting another car. And I said to myself, how is it possible if I'm going every week that this vehicle ran out of fluid all of a sudden with no signs? I would take it every week and I saw the signs that the car was starting to shut down little by little over the course of a month or two. But I don't really understand the signs. I saw them, but I would take it to the mechanic. The mechanic would look at it and say, everything's fine. And then all of a sudden, the car just shut down. So I said, you get me once, shame on you. You get me twice, shame on me. I'm going to learn everything I can about the automotive field so that in the future, it doesn't happen to me with the next car. I started learning about the automotive field. I got a job working in the automotive field and it became something that I became passionate about. I enjoyed helping customers get their cars up to speed. So I took a completely different approach to the automotive field. I said, okay, let's see what I could do to help my customers so they can get their cars up to speed without hurting their bank account. Most mechanics would say, I'm crazy. You want to always charge and have a reason to charge again. For me, it was all about making sure that the customer would never have to get a repair because the repairs are expensive. Let's do the maintenance. Let's get the maintenance done. Let's get this car in a place where it doesn't ever need to be repaired. So I built a large following, a large group of people were loyal and they follow me throughout all these years. I've got a contact list of customers over 2,000 strong, thanks to just the type of person that I have developed into being. And it's because I saw that it was just not fair. And I believe that everybody should be treated the same and fairly. So in everything that I do, my goal is always customer first. Let's see what we could do, what we can help. Then recently, this October, I decided that I wanted to break free from just working to owning my own business. And I was looking at the different opportunities. The one thing that caught my attention the most is the solar industry. Now, I had gone solar last year, so I had about a year with solar before I decided to open up my brokerage. And I was loving it. I was absolutely in love with the entire process. The fact that now I have a very low energy bill and I have credits every month. So in the event that we get a really bad month of weather, which happens in Florida often, those credits will cover my expenses. So I don't have to worry about an energy bill.
Wow.
And taking that out of the back of my mind. Okay, I don't have to worry about being without lights, right?
Right.
That was an ease off my chest. So I started looking into solar, but I saw that inside of the solar space, so many people were focused on just making a sale. And it took me back to the automotive industry when I first started. So how can I focus on the home the same way I focused on the vehicles? I started partnering with different companies. I partnered with Frank Rosa, who has a resiliency company. And we started using this term resiliency. We started working with commercial businesses first because the equipment was already out for commercial businesses, but it wasn't approved for residential use. So as I'm working with Frank, I also have another business partner, Don LaPlume. We start working together. We start building this resiliency program. And we start seeing a big change in how everything is working after they start seeing the impact that this equipment has with solar. They realized they do not have to build such a huge solar system. They can build a smaller solar system and save the money necessary to cover the other costs. We're cutting some people's costs in half. And we're doing this for businesses. I was saying we need this for the home. So I started negotiating with the manufacturers. I started having my team negotiate with the manufacturers. And we finally got them to agree to let us bring it to the home. So now we have commercial grade equipment for residential.
Wow, that is a big change. There's an ethos that runs through this. You weren't out there selling, you were becoming a trusted advisor and using that same ethos for what you've gotten into now, because you're looking more as a holistic approach of what's necessary for people to really drop their bills down, but yet keep them stable. Really make the return on investment work so much faster. And that's a combination of the equipment. It's what you decide to do and how you engineer it. And you've also got a team now that you're working with where you can get installed anywhere in the United States. That's amazing. You got to have a trusted advisor, and that's the role you've stepped into. Really proud of you on that. Tell us a little bit more about the equipment itself and how it all kind of works between the different ways of saving money.
Okay. Well, we have a kilowatt saver, which is a device that goes right on your breaker panel.
Oh,
What it does is it actually reduces noise, waves, and harmful energy that's running through every single piece of equipment in your home. It goes on there, it's like a filter. What you get in your home is a straight line of energy that's clean, not too much voltage or too low voltage. So it's going to eliminate those brownouts. So you won't have the flickering of the lights. You won't have things, turning off on you at an instant and then you got to turn them back on. Those things will be eliminated, which will protect your equipment. More importantly, you're not going to have those high spikes. Have you ever had your cell phone charging and all of a sudden it just gets really hot for no reason?
oh yes, absolutely. It's like there's too much power going in to produce what it needs to, what it's trying to do. It's like overloading.
So now you have a steady current. And with that steady current, it protects all the equipment. It keeps everything cooler. So now think about AC systems. The blower no longer gets hot. So now the AC doesn't need to run for as long because there's no heat coming from the blower. Your refrigerator, it normally gets really hot because it's working so hard to get the inside cool. It won't get as hot as it was getting before because now there's less energy spiking into it. It's getting a steady flow, which is what it needs in order to work correctly.
Hmm.
Well, the same energy saving equipment, it also has a caveat when you have solar. Anybody who does have solar already existing or is planning to get solar in the future, it helps to produce more energy out of those solar panels, which is something that the market's been trying to do, is how to get solar panels to produce more, where this device gets it done. With one device, we can save more, we can produce more, and then that's just on one part of the energy side. The other part of the energy side, we work with quality of life, like you said. We help increase the quality of the air in the house, better filtration that also uses less weight and causes more airflow. So this makes it so that the AC flows as if it had no filter at all, or a very light filter. The filtration is so strong that not even viruses can get through. It's considered medical grade filtration for the home.
Oh, like
Then
a
we
HEPA
have,
filter kind of thing? That
yes,
whole
like
idea?
if you had a MER 14 HEPA filter, it would restrain a lot of airflow, but it would filter all those viruses. This allows all the airflow to go through because it's electronically charged. It holds on to all of those particles and doesn't let them get through. It also has double the lifespan of your standard pleated filter, so there's less maintenance. When you're done, it rolls up and you can just toss it and there's less trash. So it's a smaller space that it takes up.
Sounds like
We
there could be some benefit for longevity of the equipment itself. If there's less heat that's wasted and causing inefficiency, you can get a year or two more out of your equipment. You know, when you own a home, that's a big deal. If 10 years from now you got a $20,000 bill because the AC is kaput. Here you're
right.
putting something in there that you're getting the longevity and lower bills. That's a double win.
Yes, it is. No, it's a win-win because it's increasing the quality of your health. You're
Ah,
breathing in
yeah.
better air. The other part of the quality of life that we come in is we take a look at how much the family is spending in water. Most families spend $200 to $300 a month just in water, either bottled water or they're buying gallon jugs or 5-gallon jugs. And this water that they're consuming, they're doing it because the tap water, let's face it, it's not good enough for us to consume. You know, tap water has been getting worse. The pipe system is not new. It's not like they renew it every year. And so there's contaminants in there and you can't really drink from the tap. Well, we came and looked into companies that have solutions for that. And we found a company that has the solution. And basically, you take this filtration system, you put it under your sink, and it changes the tap water into the cleanest, purest, alkaline drinking water, better than anything you can buy in a bottle. It tastes great, it's refreshing, and it comes right from your sink. Now you don't have to spend $300 a month for your family. Everybody can just refill their jugs or bottles right from the tap. Not only are they saving, but they're improving their quality of life. The alkaline water tends to take someone who maybe has their pH balance not where it needs to be, and it adjusts it so that your body can fight better, your body can heal better, and your mind starts to react to it better because now you have the minerals and the vitamins necessary in the water for you to rejuvenate your body. And then we also have a system that you can put right on the shower head, which will filter the water. Whatever you put on your body, your pores take it in. So if you're putting anything that's not clean, most people didn't even think about that. They go in, take a shower, and they're, oh, I'm getting clean. Well, if you're getting clean with dirty water, you're not doing much cleaning. So you put this on the shower head, and all of a sudden it changes the shower head into a filtration system that cleans your water. And it even comes with the option of putting aroma beads at the top so you can turn your shower into a spa.
Oh, that sounds like a fun thing to do. I like the fact that you're doing something about the shower heads because it's a known fact that shower heads can build up unhealthy mold and different things within the shower head itself. And there's very few answers to that actually to solve that problem. It's not like you can open up the shower head and clean it out. So what you're doing is avoiding that problem altogether. That's a real good, healthy lifestyle that you're creating for a family. Amazing.
Thank you. And the key is when you tie all these things together, you start lowering all of their expenses. We look at what qualifies them for solar? Basically, their neighborhood. Is there enough sun that hits their roof? Is their roof the right pitch? We look at all the different things. And sometimes solar makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. But if they qualify and solar does make sense and it'll lower their cost, and they'll see the lower cost and they'll know it makes sense. Anybody who sees, okay, I'm going from a $200 bill to a $150 bill, and I'm locking it in where it cannot go up, because we can all agree energy has been on the rise, especially in the last couple of years.
Efficiency matters much more so. There's got to be some problems being solved. You mentioned earlier about the brownouts and what's causing that, and the data centers that need to be built and how they're going to be built and what kind of pressure that's going to put on the system. You may see a lot more brownouts happening in California, maybe even Texas.
Yeah, no, there's definitely going to be more brownouts, because not only are they building more data centers, and many of them, right? But the draw that AI has on the grid is substantial. And since
Yeah.
more people are going AI, more companies are wanting to go AI, the more they pull from AI, the grid is starting to suffer, and it's not a brand new grid. And having to replace all that infrastructure is going to become expensive. And where are they going to get the money to do it? They have to get it from their customers. Energy companies are definitely now asking for increases and increases, and you're going to see it more and more. In Florida, they just got approved for $8.9 billion increase,
Oh my gosh.
right?
Yeah, that's huge. The cost of owning a home, you've got to get a handle on the overhead. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, so I say that right now would be the time to take advantage while we still have the credits available from the government to help people. When they go solar, they get a tax credit that helps them. So instead of having to pay those taxes, they get a credit that helps them reduce that. And I'm not a tax professional. You would talk to a tax professional to get more advice on that. But I've seen it work in my own life. I was able to take advantage of the tax credit. So I know that it's possible. Some people who don't qualify for the tax credit, we look into a lease agreement with them, because the leasing company qualifies for the tax credit and they can apply it to their lease. And that way we can lower their costs. Usually it's for people that are elderly or don't have enough income for the tax credit. Again, it's all about helping the homeowner or the consumer. Even if someone's in an apartment. The other day I had a gentleman who said, well, I don't have a house, so maybe one day in the future when I buy a house, I go, well, do you still pay an energy bill? And he's like, yeah, I pay an energy bill. I go, so if we put this device that lowers your energy by 10%, would that help you? He's like, you know what? No one's ever approached me that way. Can I get your business card? And I said, absolutely. The problem here too is everybody's looking at the big dollar signs, and that's not what we're about. Yes, there's a lot of money involved, but helping the homeowner and finding out what they need is more important, because every single home that we help is going to be a voice for us in the future. That's the key. Making sure that enough people know there is a better way, an option that makes a bigger impact in your quality of life. This is something I believe is going to spread like wildfire.
Let me ask you, do you think that the energy might go through a decentralized system where every individual home could be producing more of its own energy? How does the system work if you have a brownout? Are you still able to keep your refrigerator on and the things in the home with the type of systems that you put in?
The important thing there is that you have the right type of equipment. So for you to be protected completely against blackouts, you will need batteries that have blackout protection. That is key. A solar system isn't complete until you have a battery installed. That battery is going to help protect you in the event of a complete blackout. Now, the brownouts will be protected by the other equipment, so you won't see those, but you'll see the blackouts. To protect against the blackouts, the best way is with the proper battery. That'll keep you not just powered, but in the event that the grid shuts down completely, your solar system will charge the battery during the day, and you will utilize the battery during the night. And you will continuously have power as if you were still connected to a grid, even though the grid's down. That is the only real way to be secure and safe and keep your refrigerator running, any kind of medical equipment that needs to be running for the safety of the people in your home and your family.
Yeah.
That is the only way you will be secure and know that nothing is going to happen. A lot of people like to rely on generators, but generators, they only have a certain amount of hours before they start to have issues and need repair and maintenance. Generators would be a great option, but they're also noisy and
Yeah,
they'll
they are.
require,
Yes.
yeah. And the solar idea with the battery, all you need is the sun to keep coming around. Now, I don't think the sun's going to stop coming around anytime soon. So I'm going to put my bet on the sun over having to purchase fuel, because fuel costs, you never know where that's going to go.
Part of your life journey has been to adjust, and I think faith has been a big part of your life. In fact, I think you're involved with a church. If you tell us a little bit about what that project's about.
My faith journey started young. I've always had a strong connection to my faith. I believe in Jesus. I believe that not only has he saved me, but he's been guiding me, and he's helped me throughout so many difficult situations that I can't deny his help in many aspects. I went through a foreclosure that took 6 years. I was taken to court several times, going up against Bank of America. The first time we went to in front of the judge asked me for my information. I went, I gave him my information, and I told him this is my home and I'm here to defend it. And then Bank of America went up to the judge and said, okay, we had all of the documentation, but we can't find the documentation this morning. So we don't have the proper documentation to show you. And the judge said, well, I have to dismiss the case. He dismissed it without prejudice, but he dismissed the case. He said, Mr. Izquierdo, you have won. You know, there's no, they can file again and start the process all over, but they have no case because they have no documentation. When I went home that day, I was very grateful to God. I was thanking Jesus, but I was also just in awe, because how does that even occur? I mean, how does these people that have dedicated their entire lives to not only the banking business, but to being lawyers, lose the documentation that would allow them to win the case? That happened. Then the next time they went to take me to court, something even more incredible happened. The Monday before the court hearing, I get a phone call saying that all of the Bank of America law firm that was supposed to handle my case resigned
Right out of the blue.
right out of the blue. So I knew that there was something working for me. I knew that God was there. I knew Jesus was there. I know that they were making sure that my home was secure. So I dedicated my home, my family, and everything that I did to the cause of helping his children, which is what they call their neighbor, right? And so I found this church called Potential Church, and they have this wonderful phrase that they use. It says, we partner with people, build their God-given potential, and help the world for good. And so I started learning, studying, getting closer, understanding more things. When last October came around, I decided that I wanted to make a difference, build a business, and break free from just working at a regular job. So everything came to going solar, but I couldn't feel comfortable just selling solar. I had to do more. I had to help people in a better way. So how could I do that? What makes the most impact? And that's when resiliency really made sense. Well, since I'm a member of Potential Church and I started understanding what resiliency can do, I decided that my church needs to know about resiliency. So I presented it to them. And it took a while to get even a meeting. But once I got in front of the pastor and I was able to show him what we have, when I saw the excitement on my pastor's face, I realized we did the right thing. He was really excited. he saw that there's an opportunity to not just lower the expenses for the church, which would help and make an impact, but also create awareness and an energy that people would be able to see. Now you have something that's a community leader, a staple, something that's been around for many years, over 20 years, nervous about having to close their doors because so was every church in America after COVID. COVID caused more companies and more churches to close their doors than anything else. They were concerned, but they continued to pull through. They've been resilient, and that's our focus. When they saw that, it aligned perfectly with what they want to get done. They've been thinking about going sustainable. Everything that we have in place now is going to help the church not only lower their expenses, but eventually, once their system is paid off, eliminate their expenses entirely.
That's
That
a big
make a
deal.
big impact. Yes,
That
that is
is
going to
that is
make
a
a
big
big
deal.
impact.
And that means there's more for helping families as well, and the families find out about it too. You're improving health and energy at the same time. Let's not lose sight of that fact. You're doing the right thing, and you're obviously a great advisor. You know your stuff, you've done your homework, and you've been in it for a little bit. I like the fact that you have aligned with some of the strongest people in the country in this industry. So that makes a big difference. So you can help anyone, whether they've got a commercial project or it's their home they're trying to save. We'll put the contact information into the description so everyone will know how to get a hold of you and learn more about what you do. Is there a cost to having a consultation with you, or is it, do you do a free consult with people over the phone? Do they send you pictures of their home? How does it kind of work when you're working with someone new? It might be out of state.
That's a great question. It's really easy. I can give you the information. I have a calendar they can book me for, but I also have a website where they can fill out a form, and then I'll have either me or one of my assistants get back to them and set up an appointment for them to meet with an expert. If I'm not available, one of the other experts will sit down with them and go over everything that can be done for their home. It doesn't cost them anything. There's no charge for the consultation. We give them a free home energy savings report to see what they're spending now and how it is that it would look if they did start using this equipment that saves them energy and helps them go sustainable. Additionally, I'm building a system to give them more education. So there'll be a website available. It's called Resiliency Objectives. And there will be education, information that they can get on their own whenever they're available. And if they decide that they want to know more information, all they do is fill out a form, and we will continuously send more education towards them so that they can continue learning more about the things that they wanted to learn about. And as they learn and as they grow, if they decide that they want a consultation, it's free, and we'll set up the appointment. If I'm not available, we have many what they call mentors in the field, which are just experts that will educate them and help them along their journey into getting a resilient and sustainable future.
So you have a team that's on the same page. That's wonderful. The fact is, people need information before they can make a decision, and that's what you're providing. It's really a consultation and not a sales call. I can see the difference in what that matters when people are looking at their home or business and what's important as far as keeping resilient, staying in the game. Staying in the game is what resiliency is really about because costs are going to keep going up. There might be shortages of energy in certain areas. So anything you can do for your home, no matter where you are, actually, is a good thing. And there may be some tax credits involved as well. And then you have a solution if you don't pay taxes. You got a great solution as far as leasing goes. People can still save money and cut their costs. So you got some interesting solutions there, Jose. This has been a really informative time learning everything about what you're doing and why you're doing it. Your heart's in the right place, Jose, and I hope everyone else has seen that today. Thank you
I
so
appreciate
much.
that.
Thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate having the chance to be on here with you, and I look forward to having more conversations with you in the future.
Absolutely.